What's up, everyone? Today we have yet another generator. It's turning into a all generators all the time channel, I'm telling you. Just joking, that's never going to happen. But it is very similar to the Tecumseh that I have over here. If you remember, the power head is basically exactly the same. This is obviously not a Tecumseh though. This is a Briggs & Stratton. Here's a story about this engine. When I first started, I bought a generator almost identical to this one. And I sold it, and it was the worst idea ever. So I saw this on the internet, I had to buy it. I paid probably too much for it, but, you know, whatever. I like the fact it's a flathead, Briggs & Stratton, 10 horse. The only thing I don't like is I think this might have a fuel pump, and sometimes those can be a little temperamental. The story behind this is the guy had it, used it for a few hours, kept it inside a garage covered, and then went out to try it again. Didn't generate power. Thought about fixing it, then he decided not to. Posted on the internet, and now it's on my table. It's insanely clean. Like, look, there's almost no dust. Even the heat shield is pretty clean. Let's check the oil. Oil looks like it hasn't even been changed or used. I don't think that is normal to have that type of like red kind of sealant on it. So that might be something that he did. Other than that, it's almost identical to the other generator, except it doesn't have those stupid feet. I'm telling you, that was a project. If you haven't seen my video on that one, watch that. But oh man, you can tell it has a fuel filter because it has that, or a fuel pump because it has that type of filter. At least I hope so. It's usually, let's put you in here, around there somewhere. But yeah, has a low oil cutoff. That's good. That's actually a good one too, because that makes it a lot easier to take or replace the ones that you have to, you know, crack the case. That's just a giant pain. I've had to do that. That's how mine was. So this is a different type, so that's good. Here's the model. Hopefully you can read that. I can't. Not yet, at least. But yeah, I say we should at least try starting it. And if it starts, great. We'll start diagnosing no power. And if it doesn't start, we'll go down that route. So I just looked at the fuel. It has fuel, not much, but some. I also kind of smelled it, and it smells fresh. Like, I have no questions on the age. And the fuel, the fuel filter looked like it had clean gas in there. So let's give it a try. Choke. Yeah, on. Maybe it's flooded. Take off the cover for the air filter. We'll put a little carb cleaner or sardine fluid or something down the throat. I took out the air filter. Looks brand new. Just a little bit of discoloration from the fuel vapors that settled. But other than that, it looks brand new. If this doesn't work, we're going to check for spark. And if we do have spark, we'll go ahead and, well, I guess we won't have to because I'm putting carb cleaner down there, so it definitely has compression. Well, we know it'll run. Why don't I get a drill and we will see if it does make power first. I'll tape the handle down and then we'll take a look and see if it spins. Try this again. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna look at the plug. So I think I noticed something. I took the boot off and it cracked. The entire plug just broke. I took it out. I don't have this exact one, but I have the NGK equivalent, so I put the NGK in there. I'll buy a Champion later. Or just leave the NGK, I kind of prefer the NGK. But yeah, let's give it a try. Let's try no starting fluid, and then if it still doesn't, we'll put some more in. There we go. Try choke. I did not see if the drill turned on. And neither did you. Oh boy. Do you see that? It turned a little. So sometimes you do have to get the engine speed up before it will even start to generate power. So let's try that again and see if we can see it move. Yeah, I'm pretty confident that the generating is probably okay. I think we have a carb problem, so let's go ahead and get that started. I'm about 90% sure that I'm going to need a special type of socket to remove these studs. But luckily for me, I have that socket. You hear chainsaws in the background. My neighbor's getting their tree cut down. Which is both good and bad. I hate that type of tree, but it was kind of nice to have it there. Mainly because I didn't have to clean up after it. Okay. Well, that's a little crusty looking, isn't it? Yeah, I could definitely tell that needs to be cleaned. So, yeah, if you look right here, you can tell that the carb actually is pretty much in there. What you need to do is take one of these, fits over the top, and you just go over it. I think you could use like a 1/4 inch normal socket, but you run the risk of wobbling them over like this one. Okay, that one still fits though, but you could tell there's a little damage on that one. I'm going to take the fuel line off, and then we will take the carb off. I feel like this has been cleaned before. Just gets that feeling about that. A little hard is you in the way. There wasn't a whole lot of gas in the fuel line, but what is in there is nasty. So I have a feeling that it probably was put away with little to no fuel in it, but the bowl was not drained. Maybe they just took the filter off, or maybe that's why they would put a new filter on. They just wanted to see if that would work. Which is concerning, because that means they thought they have a fuel delivery problem, which means a potential fuel pump problem. Now, for this style, you don't need a fuel pump. You can take it off. You just have to have a different type of filter. Which, if that is the problem, if it doesn't start running, to test it out, I probably will just take the pump off or bypass it, and then we'll just run directly to the carb with like a screen filter, like those really thin red ones. Or white, I guess. Right tools for the right job. Taking that off without that special type of socket is a real pain, not gonna lie. Do not wish that on anyone. Because once it goes wrong, it goes real wrong real fast. I don't know if crusty is the right word for it, but there's definitely some type of weird white fermented dust or something on there. Like some type of residue. Maybe there's like a cleaner. I don't know. Well, just very little fuel. There was water in there. It is a little gooey, to say the least. But my worry is that fuel pump. Yeah, this stuff would need to come apart. It's pretty nasty in there. So, I just hope, because I do see a little galling, that the guy who did this before did not make it so it's impossible to clean or take out. Now, So a while back I got these little attachments for my impact driver for just like a little extension, and they're really good because they're flat, unlike a normal screwdriver which have like these little flaps at the end, but they range in size quite nicely to fit in a carburetor. I just put it in, there. But this is the one that fits the best. Oh, it's in there. I don't know if that's moving or just grinding. Might have moved. I'll see little bits of metal. Let's get a little oil. Scratch that. Let's put a little carb cleaner down there. I took the bowl seal off. Oh no, it's just not coming off at all. And it's stripping now. Okay, that's not good. Well, I would have loved to taken that out, but don't think that's in the cards today. So what we'll do is, let's try the oil. Put a little penetrating fluid down there. Let's double check. That's too small. Too small. Too small. Way too small. Way too small. Not even the right type. Looks about the same, really. It is. It's a little thinner, though. Don't want that. Well, I think we have the right one. Oh, we got lucky. Penetrating oil worked. Well, I'm going to say this. I do not want to be the person that has to take this apart the next time. That's why there won't be a next time. I'm going to keep this one and put non-ethanol fuel in there. Dump out the fuel that's in there right now. Use that like in a lawnmower or something that I know is going to be sold here soon. And it will just, that tank of fuel will just be used mowing someone's lawn, and then if they want to put normal fuel in there with ethanol, they can definitely continue that streak. Oh yeah, we need to take this out. I'm glad we got it done. But do you see, just, it's clogged, it's gooey. Granted, some of that's oil, but not the gooey chunks. What else do we take off here? There's a jet there. Probably idle jet of some type. Yeah, that was disgusting too. anything else to take off? Doesn't look like it. Okay, so I'm going to put it in the ultrasonic cleaner, bolt and everything, and then I'll bring you back. Got everything cleaned. Looks a lot better. Motion tube and jet looks way better. But before I do anything, that seat is needing a little attention. So to do that, about, I don't know, a year ago, I ordered that orange hand cleaner on Amazon that has like the grit in it. And they accidentally sent me the one with no grit, so I told them about that. They said okay, sent me a new one, and they didn't tell me to return the other one. So I have like a gallon of no grit cleaner. So I like to use that for times where it's not super like corroded, just dirty, because I don't really want to resurface it all that much. Now, take the other half. It might need a little extra attention. I know why. Fast. Much better. Let's take some carb cleaner, put it in there, clean it out. Okay. Let's test it. Looks a lot better in there. So this definitely had a ethanol fuel problem. I like to make sure I buy the non-ethanol. Okay, I don't know where I left off, to be honest, sorry, but I tell you, as soon as you're working, everything happens. But luckily another project came around, so at least it's for a benefit. Working on a gas air compressor next. It's definitely going in a lot smoother than it came out. And while you were away, not paying attention, I drained the fuel. It was clean. There's only about a half gallon in there. And put some non-ethanol. Okay, let's do this a try. That's good. Now, that's not what I want. Where's the other jet? I already put it in there. No, that's not it either. I'm gonna look around for it and put it back and bring you back, and we'll give it a try. Found it. Or not. It's way too long. It's the next day or so. I'm not 100% sure where I left off. Unfortunately, I had just constant interruptions, to put it that way. Let's see if a Briggs & Stratton, like a bowl gasket for a lawnmower, like one of those 6 1/4 or 6 3/4. Carbs will fit. Probably will, from the looks of it, if I could do it right. If not, a little stretchy might be needed. Or maybe take out this. Or maybe not. Basically what I'm trying to say is, this is a struggle. I'm gonna have to stretch it a little bit. I mean, the old one wasn't horrible, but to stretch you just go like this. I mean, yeah, it's probably not the best thing in the world to do because you overstretch it, or maybe even break it, or whatnot, but I've not had a problem doing that before, so. My problem now is that when I push it forward, it just kind of rolls rather than sliding over the edge. That needs a little more stretching. You know what? I'm just going to put it back on and bring it when I'm done. Would you believe me, my first attempt of putting this on when the camera wasn't on, probably also without the bowl or the float on, made it easier, but it went in. Well, believe me. The needle on this isn't like some Briggs and Strattons where they need a seat. This has a rubber tip on the end of it. All thumbs today. Okay, just gonna tighten that down later when I put it back on and when I find my wrench. But it looks a lot better. Doesn't look very gooey at all, or doesn't look gooey at all. Here's the jet, kind of jet. Looks to be more of a some type of access for the idle rather than anything that does metering. Okay, so let's go ahead and put it back on. Yeah, everything should be good. I can't remember if I mentioned it, but I did put fuel in the tank. I took out the old fuel and I let the new fuel. It's kind of a messy process, but to kind of release it, in fact, I will show you. So as you can tell, it's dry, but new fuel is in the tank without the fuel turned on. That is pretty important too, because with it on, obviously it's going to fill up. Now to remove this, I take off this end, or to remove the fuel that's in here. Then you come over here with the end that goes on the carburetor. There's still fuel in there. I don't really want that because that's probably a good section of the bowl that would fill up with bad gas again. So you pull it. A lot of it, when you release the pressure on the other end, will just seep out, so you could get a lot of it out of there. But I pull the engine over without the plug on or attached, and then that usually just takes care of it, just empties it, around 99% of it. So I'm going to put the carb on, bring it back. So I don't think I actually quite mentioned this, but I mentioned it earlier that you can sometimes have a bad pump. How these end up working is they take pressure from the crankcase, which is over here, goes inside, moves a little diaphragm back and forth, which then moves fuel that goes in on one side and out on the other, and obviously goes to the carb. If for any reason you're not getting any reaction from your pump. Make sure that it's getting enough pressure from the crankcase. Make sure the hose is on there. Make sure the hose is on the actual pump. I mean, it's something small, but you'd be surprised how many times I've seen where they've been completely cracked, completely off in general. So, you know, just make sure to look at that before you condemn the pump. Got everything done, so it should be ready. I don't expect it to start on the first couple pulls. You do have to pump the fuel a little bit through the system because it's not going to make it all the way through the carb because of that filter. So it probably is going to take 4 or 5, hopefully less. Let's give it a try. Choke on, engine on. So as we saw, it was running. Running a little slow, a little burpy too. So I'm going to let it run a little bit longer. Have a heat gun put to it. 1800 watts. That's like roughly 40% of the total capacity. We don't want to see it dip too much. I just bent over the tab to help increase it just a few hundred RPM more. Maybe 100, 150. But that should be enough. Let's give it a try. No choke, let's try that. Maybe quarter choke. Well, it's definitely having issues. Don't think it's fuel. Well, delivery. I think it might be the jetting or the carb could still be a little tore up. I'll take a look and see what I find. Okay, I cleaned the carb again. It wasn't dirty or anything, but just to make sure, and I took my air compressor, blew really thoroughly into all the ports. Idle jet, main jet, took the emulsion tube out, put it on the wire wheel, pretty much overkill. Looks brand new, put it back on. It's identical to what I just did, except just again, so I didn't really show it. If this doesn't work, I have no issue with the engine. I think the engine's fine, so I don't think it's that. So I think we might be in the realm of new carb, but let's take this one step at a time. And just as before, we have to wait for it to pump. Probably not nearly as long though. And that's a big no. So I'm going to try one more thing. I'm going to take that fuel filter out and put a fuel shutoff and just see if there's some type of restriction, and we'll go from there. Turn the fuel on, put a new filter on there. I have one of those screen filters, decided not to use the on-off. The screen filter is what you could use on any gravity-fed system, so there's no potential issue of it causing any leakages or blockages. Yeah, let's give it a try. The filter was a little large, felt like the paper was a little thick. I don't really know what it was meant for. I don't think it was for this. They're usually a lot smaller. In fact, I think I might even have one. That second one is the largest one I've ever personally used. The other one was roughly 2 inches longer than that. Let's give it a try. Yeah, no joke. That's a no dice on that one. So, looks like I'm in a market for a new carburetor. I'll go ahead and get one ordered, put it on there, and I'll bring you back. A couple days later, I have a new carburetor. So, as you can tell, it's probably not a genuine Briggs, but I think it was like $14, and the genuine Briggs was, I don't remember, 60, 80. And at that point I just have way too much money wrapped up in that generator, so. And this one's adjustable. I'm going to install it to bring it back. Have everything installed. Now, I'm under no impression that this is going to be a one and done thing. I have a feeling I'll be taking this off. Technically I probably should take it and open it up just to make sure everything is okay. I mean, judging on the potential quality of it. So I'm guessing I'm going to take this off at least 2 times to drill the jet. Luckily, because the idle is adjustable, I can avoid drilling anything like that, and I don't have to worry. That's the good news. The bad news is I probably would still have to take out the main. Might not even have to take the carb off, but we don't know about that yet. Now, what you're going to do, and I'll wait, guess how many times. I know. You didn't think you're going to have to think when you saw this, but come on. Okay, good. Now, I'm going to pull on it. The carb should be bone dry, so it's probably going to be a while. So I'm going to choke it and see if it works. It runs, but it has to be choked a little bit. To be expected. I don't think that's going to be an idle adjustment, that's for sure, but I'm going to adjust the idle and then we'll see what's going on. I'd turn it out like 2 turns. I have the air filter just in case. Helps when it's on. The air filter adds drag. Not that type of drag. Luckily for me, the idle adjustment is right next to the spewing hot exhaust. That's not changing anything. I'm going to roll it out a little bit. Hey, so as far as I can tell, what is in there is something that's closer to about 0.45 of a millimeter. This is 0.5 of a millimeter. I don't know what number that is on that little blue thing, because this is not in that little blue thing. But just in general comparison to the other one that was in there, which I might just put in there, this is a lot smaller. So I'm going to go ahead and drill it out and then put it in there. If this doesn't work, we'll get the other jet and we'll put that one in there. Okay. So now we're at the new drill. I did a 9 horse. This is a 10, and the 9 horse was an overhead valve. I did drill it out to like 0.9 of a millimeter, so it's a lot easier to take material off than it is to put it back on, but we're going down a different road now. Let's try it again. Gasoline engines run better on gasoline. Gosh, I think we might have it. I don't want to jinx myself. I'm going to put the cover on and we'll do a load test and see what happens. Put a heat gun on there. The first click, it's on high on both sides, is 900 watts. The second option is 1800 watts. It's like roughly 40% of the total load. It would be better to put a little bit more, but this will at least give us a good baseline. Put the meter on there, let's give it a pull and see if it works. Alright, no choke. Nope. I'm very happy with that. I'm going to tweak it a little bit and see if we can't get that down to like 61 or so hertz. To do that, I just bend this way for more, this way for less engine speed. Just puts more tension on that spring. Now, final attempt. I hope. Okay, well there you have it. Looks like it runs good, 1800 watts. It doesn't even go down hardly at all, so that's good. I'm sure at full load it'd be like 59 and 0.5, 58, probably 59.5. I would suspect to be the final amount. But yeah, looks like that should be good. You know, I've seen videos online where people really condemn those cheap carburetors, and don't get me wrong, I have too. But sometimes you just can't argue with the value, especially if you can just modify it to work for your own cause. You know, hey, I would love to have bought a Briggs, don't get me wrong, it would have been great, spectacular. But for the price, and for what I'm going to be able to sell it for, and considering how much I have on it, in it so far, and considering I might even keep it, I'm personally okay with how it's setting up right now. There's no issue to me. It's great. So, yeah, I think I'm pretty good with the way it is now. I'm going to maybe dust it off a little bit, put it back together. Well, I guess it is together. Dust it off a bit. Probably run the engine with the fuel turned off. That way it can just get all the fuel out of the carb, especially if I am going to be using this one. I don't want to keep fuel in the carb, even though it's non-ethanol. It's just not a good idea. Okay, well, catch you on the next one. Definitely subscribe, put a thumbs up. If you have a comment or question or concern, leave a comment below. And I will catch you on the next project. Have a good night.